What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another preview stream for you guys. Spurs taking on West Ham at the London Stadium tomorrow, and what is set to be a crackerjack of a match with so many different storylines going to this game. You might have noticed my partner in crime, my brother Ben, not in the studio today. He's got an able deputy, an able replacement in the great Brian Daigle, the municipus, the delightful, the man who's got what he wants, the man who never gave up, who never stopped putting his foot on the neck of the powerful. He spoke truth to power, and the power came tumbling down. It's Mr. Brian Daigle.
My good God, I don't know what that first word you said beginning with M was, but
I think it's a word. I'm trying to remember what it means.
Well, if you haven't, trademark it. That's probably the best intro you've ever given me, and I love it. I love it, and delighted to be back with you. My loan is back on with you. My channel, my one and only channel. It's delighted and great to be with you, brother.
The reason, by the way, everyone who's watching, that Ben is not here today and might not be in the studio for the near future is because his wife Ashley has given birth to a baby girl. So everyone wish Ben a massive congratulations. I'm an uncle again. I'm very happy and I'm very proud to be an uncle again. I can't wait to meet my new niece. It happened this morning. Ashley gave birth to a very beautiful baby girl. So everyone in the comments, wish Ben a massive congratulations. He's going to be taking some much needed time off with the helping the baby settle in and everything. And he's got a little Joshua who's still under 2 years old as well. So he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. So Brian Daigle has gracefully offered to step in and help, as he always does when is needed. So everyone in the comments, wish Ben a massive congratulations on the birth of a new child, daughter. But Brian, let's just have a little chit chat before we go into things. How are you doing? It's going to be the first Levy-less game, Brian, on the weekend. A Levy-less game. Is there going to be an air of I don't know, something fresh, a new era? Is the air going to be fresher on Saturday, do you think? What's going to have changed?
So first of all, let me just say a massive congratulations and mazel tov to you and all the family, and obviously especially Ben and Ashley and your nephew. You now got a niece. I will tell you, from having a niece, get ready to have her you wrap around her little finger in a few years' time. Enjoy it. It's wonderful being an uncle, isn't it? But yeah, the first Levy-free Tottenham game, the first Thomas Frank London derby, Kudus returning home, or to his former club, should we say. There's loads of things about this, and I actually think the away end is going to be a carnival. It's going to be a carnival atmosphere. It's going to be a great occasion, and I'm just delighted it's the 12:30 game and the late game, so I can get a little bit of a lay-in and not have to get down there at 7:30 in the morning. So thank you, Sky, for making it the late game. But yeah, it's an exciting game, and just thank God the Premier League is back.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to get things up and running. Now we're going to get into a particular lineup, and it's going to be a fairly difficult one to predict with all the new signings and everything going into it. Before we get into that particular lineup, I just want to give out a big shout out to our sponsors, BetMate, who are sponsoring the stream. Big shout out to them, big love to them. They've been sponsoring a lot of the match preview streams throughout the season, and they continue to be one of our favourite sponsors. They are a fantasy app which you can actually win actual money by using your football knowledge, putting it to the test. All you do is, with each game, there's loads of different games on the BetMate app. If you download it, click the QR code on screen right now, you get directed to the WeAreTottenhamTV private code. You're going to be up against me and Ben this week. It's completely free to enter. There's £100 of prize money up for grabs. You pick, on screen, as you can see, you pick 7 players in your team, which is only specific to that one game. You can only pick I think it's 6 players from one team in total, including the bench players as well. So it works very similar to fantasy football. You get points for goals, assists, but also in the new reformatted point system for defensive players, you get points for tackles, interceptions. For each goalkeeper save they make, you get a point as well. So there's lots of opportunities to win points. And my team at the moment I've picked for this game says I've actually picked Paquetá captain. I have to change that. I thought I picked Kudus captain, but we'll get into it. But Vicario in goal. I've got Romero and Juff in the back line. Romero because he makes a lot of duels and he gets involved. Juff has been quite a decent start to life at West Ham. Paquetá, he gets in a lot of tackles, interceptions. He's going to be a tough tackling display from him. Kudus returning to the London Stadium. I couldn't resist putting him in. And up front, Richarlison and Brennan Johnson, I envisage, will keep his place, and he likes a goal in a big game. So that is my team. If you think your team can get more points than me, sign up on the QR code. It's completely free to enter. Join the private pot code. It's also, if you want to join, if you go on the app and you just want to type in the code, it's WATTV-04. I'll type it in the chat for people who want to click on the app. It's WATTV-04 to join the private pot code on BetMate. So go and scan the QR code, download BetMate, and put your knowledge to the test and take me and Ben on this week for a chance of winning up to £100 in prize money. And there's loads of different games that you can play. Any different Premier League game you can play as well on the app. And also there's a 3 p.m. game where all the 3 p.m. games get put together and you choose a team out of the games at 3 p.m. There's loads of different games on there. It's lots of fun. So go check it out. Show some love to our sponsors, BetMate. QR code is on screen. I'll be on screen throughout the whole video. All right, but without further ado, let's get into the predicted lineup. Brian, it's going to be a bit of a difficult one, this one, because a lot of new signings through the door. You know, also, you've got to take into account we were dreadful against Bournemouth. So does he change a few things from that game? Is there going to be some element of you know, playing players out of form and players deserving to be dropped from that game? You know, with the international break, apparently, what's it called? Everyone's come back clean bit of health from the international break, but there's also an element of, you know, Moani stayed behind, so he's had 2 weeks with Frank. Does he get the nod? So a lot of different things. We'll get into who we think is going to play. Just quickly run through the team news as we'll get the team news up there. So Dominic Solanke, Frank revealed, is still out. He says he doesn't think it's going to be too long, but he remains unavailable. And he joins, obviously, the long-term injuries of Maddison, Kulusevski, Radu Dragushin, who has returned to training, by the way, if you can see in the training videos, but probably still a few weeks away from first-team action. And also Kota Takai and Yves Bissouma. Not 100% sure the timelines on their injuries, but I believe they're still unavailable for the weekend. But yeah, those are the current situations. Brian, we were talking off air. You feel there could be a change of formation in this one?
I do, and also I want to add, before I go to the formation, you added all the things before, bad against Bournemouth, bad, and the other things you added. I think we've also got to look at it now. We're going into a period where it's 2 games a week. And squad rotation and keeping an eye on the Champions League squad and who he wants to play is also vital. I don't know why. We were talking about it on Tottenham Tour earlier. I've just got a sneaky suspicion that set pieces could be vital in this game for us. And I think there could be a back three. I think, I mean, that's just obviously me thinking, not guaranteeing, but did it against Paris Saint-Germain. We all thought he was going to do it against Manchester City, and he didn't. And I think everyone's thinking right now he'll go 4-2-3-1 against West Ham. I've just got a sneaky feeling a Thomas Frank curveball could be in store. What do you reckon?
Look, I think he will go forward to back, but I understand the logic of what you're thinking, because Potter kind of threw a bit of a curveball, didn't he, in the last game against Forest, because he went 4 at the back when majority of the season he's been playing 3 at the back, and kind of took Forest by surprise, and they won the game 3-0. There's a lot of different elements as well. Could he just look spring surprise? Is 4 at the back the best way to play against this West Ham team? I just think if he plays 5 at the back, who misses out? And does he go 5-3-2 like against PSG? Is it 3-4-3? Do you want to take a midfielder out? If we play 5 at the back, is there no Simons in there? Where do you fit Simons in? Does he play off the left, potentially? I guess that's possible.
Or Sarr comes out, ready for Champions League, and he plays the number 10.
That's also another element to this. Champions League on Tuesday.
Correct.
You know, is he going to want to rest players potentially going into that game? The reality is he's got to think about that game, doesn't he? When he comes to selection here. So where does he put his main resources? Is it full strength here, rest players on Tuesday, or is it rest players here, full strength on Tuesday? Some big decisions to be made. Obviously, in goal, we're going to go Vicario.
Yep.
I think we're going to stick with a 4-2-3-1 because I can't see him going 3 at the back. I think maybe on Tuesday though. Does he go 3 at the back on Tuesday? Maybe that's a discussion for another time. I do think he goes 4 at the back here. Right back. I've seen a lot of people saying this game they would put Spence at right back.
I'm one of them.
Because you're one of them.
I'm one of them. Because
their biggest threats, on the wings with Bowen and Paquetá or Somerville. Yep. If you could just stop them, they're all of a sudden that transition threat is a lot less, isn't it? So
it is.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was about to say as well, one of the things that I was mentioning on top as well, what we've got to do this year, and this is the main reason that I'm saying Spence as well. One of the main things we've got to do this year is obviously squad rotation, game management, keep players fit, keep players fresh, because we all know what happened last season, how badly it suffered. Pedro Porro's gone away and played 180 minutes with Spain. He's also played a load of minutes in the Premier League. He came off against Bournemouth, obviously, and Spence moved over. And I'm thinking, will he want to give Porro rest and have him ready for Tuesday? Or, because Destiny's also got some minutes in his legs, so I'm thinking about it more on the fitness level and trying to keep Porro as fit and fresh as possible. So I am one of the ones that think Spence may be at right back, or I would put him there for sure. And I think there's a very good chance for it.
Yeah, I think so as well. And I think I agree with what you're saying. A Doggy probably needs a start because he's had the whole international break to get fit, and obviously he came on against Bournemouth, didn't he? So he's had that little bit of period to build himself up. So he should be all right to start. Hasn't had the games over the international break. Porro's been overplayed a lot. He's been overplayed for about 2 years, but regardless of that, he's had 290 minutes for Spain. Spence has only had a 20-minute cameo. Also, I also just think in general, to combat West Ham, it might be the best fit, and then get Porro back in the Champions League for European football. So, all right, we're going to go Spence and Udogie, right back and left back then in this one, which it'll be nice to see. I mean, we haven't seen those two, have we, start together?
Not for a long, long time.
I'm trying to think. Have we ever seen them start together?
I think they start. Oh, yeah, they would have started. They started together for the West Ham game, didn't they? Not West Ham. Sorry, Manchester United, the first Ange game, and then Bournemouth.
No, that would have been Porro. That would have been Porro.
That's what I'm saying. Oh no, Spence. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. Sorry, you're right. You're completely. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
I
Spence
think you're
and
right,
Udogie.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I remember that. I do think actually there was one game they started, and it was we played Southampton. We beat them 5-0. Remember that was Spence's big game, big comeback.
Yep.
And then Udogie, I think, got injured after 20 minutes. So then Spence had to move to left back
right.
after
and then
20
Porro,
minutes.
You're right.
And Porro came on. So I think that might have been the only time we've seen him, and it was only for 20 minutes. So
anyway, and the Southampton and the Bournemouth game for whatever minutes it was, but
Bournemouth last season?
No, this season.
This season. Sorry, for 20 minutes at the end.
So obviously they haven't started together, I don't think. But I mean, I think a lot of people, because of Spence doing so well at left back, I think there's a lot of people underestimating how good Destiny can be when he gets full throttle.
I agree. I've seen a lot of people. This is not me disrespecting Spence at all, but I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh, Spence is, he's our number one left back. He's a better left back than the doggy, and he's better at him defensively, and he should be number one." And look, I think Spence deserves to be our number one at the moment because he's playing well and he's got the shirt. And until he's not playing well, there's no reason to take him out. I just think, for me, this is my personal opinion. When a doggy's been at his best, I think he's been better than Spence. That's just my opinion. Like what we saw from him last season when he came in for Spence in that Europa League one, he was incredible. And I know Spence has played well, and he's fully deserved his England call-up. No disrespect to him. I just feel a doggy offers us a bit more on that left-hand side. And people say, Spence is better defensively. And I think in the moment they're probably right, but people forget. I remember we were saying when the doggy first came in, he was locking up Salah, he was locking up Saka, he was playing some brilliant games against some top wingers. And we were saying, this guy, his physicality, like he's really difficult to play against. And I think because he's had injury problems and sometimes when he's come back from injuries, he's not been at his best like straight away.
Exactly.
People forget how good he is when he is at 100%.
Well, look how good he was at the end of the Europa League run.
Yeah.
He came back and obviously pre-season he picked up that knock. I think Destiny is, like you said, Spence has completely... I think he is a better left back than he is right back at the moment because we've seen him mainly there and he's looked brilliant there. But I think Destiny is a very, very good left back. We've got to remember now, this is people may have said it's defensive duty. Sometimes he's slacking. He's going to be working under Thomas Frank now. So hopefully Thomas Frank will be able to coach him on the floors that he has and upgrade him. I think you look at it, if you play, if Porro gets rested, and not just for this game or whatever, it's much better having Spence on the right rather than an Archie Gray or whatever, or whoever we do it, when you've got Destiny sitting there. So I think this could be a very powerful force.
All right, centre backs. Romero, Van de Ven, any dispute on that? I mean, Danso, is he coming in? We know Dragoshin and Takai, they're not going to be available. So there's really does Danso come in for this game with a view of Tuesday as well? I still think we'll probably just go Romero, Van de Ven, don't we?
Yeah, I think maybe Danso, like I said with the back five, maybe Danso gets a chunk of the second half and not like a 10 minutes to rest one of them. So one of them do get a little bit of a rest. But yeah, you can't go against Romero and Van de Ven. All
right, Romero, Van de Ven. I agree. I think they both come in, so that's going to be the back line. In midfield, this gets a bit interesting because I assume it's not going to be the same midfield on Saturday as it is going to be on Tuesday. I assume anyway. It might not be. But who plays when? Because we got Pauli. Like, if you look at our midfield, right, first of all, Bergvall came on against Bournemouth and was brilliant. So a lot of people, much better than what we had. So a lot of people say he deserves a start. Paulinho had a shocking game against Bournemouth, but has been largely brilliant overall. Bentancur, he is also didn't have a great game against Bournemouth, probably not as bad as Paulinho, but didn't have a great game. But again, has been largely brilliant. Pape Sarr, a lot of people saying he's undroppable at the moment. And then you throw in Xavi Simons, who's our only number 10. He needs to start. So who the hell Archie Gray. I mean, he's kind of the forgotten man at the moment because I can't really see a place for him in this midfield with all the other players, how they're playing. So who the hell do we play in this game? With a view of Tuesday as well. Is Tuesday going to be the game when we need more experience? And maybe this game, do we throw in a Bergvall next to a Paulinho or something? Or maybe with it being a big London derby and a feisty game, do we need some cooler heads there?
Well, when you look at it, first of all, with Paulinho, can he play 2 games a week? Obviously, we've seen him go full throttle for 90 minutes. And obviously, when you mentioned the Bournemouth game, in my opinion, Vicario and Van de Ven were the only starters that come off with any kind of praise from the Bournemouth game. So we lacked creativity. Bergvall, I completely agree with you. When he came on, he was the one that was looking to get the ball forward. I think the biggest question mark out of the two, when we're doing the two, is does Paulinho start this game? Or is he looking mainly for the Champions League game? And again, the same with Paulinho. Could he be subbed, depending on the score, early to So refresh him. I mean,
I get a feeling Bergvall might start this game because he came on, did well.
Yep.
And I think as well, I don't think he's going to start on Tuesday. I got a feeling he's going to be on the bench on Tuesday because it's, you Champions League, you want to get off to a good start. You might need that bit of Champions League experience, on that first game. So I got a feeling Bergvall might not start on Tuesday. So I've got a feeling maybe he comes in on this one.
I could easily go with that. This is the thing. What we all got to remember now, and the people watching, it's all well and good saying the strongest 11.
Yeah.
But now comes the time, and we've got to remember, this is brand new territory for Frank as well.
That's what I was about to say. Frank even said in his press conference he doesn't know his strongest 11 because he's still learning about the squad.
Exactly. And he's not had to do this 2 games a week, European, or he's done 2 games a week. But I mean, at this level with European football, he's really going to have to rotate, refresh, and keep everyone sharp. So I could easily, put it as well, if I see Bergvall starting, I'd be happy. I think he deserves a start.
Yeah, I just got a feeling Bergvall's going to be in. But then who does he partner? Is it Paulinho or is it Bentancur or even Gray or Sarr?
North London. Well, put it this way. Should we just say this? Do you reckon Simons is having his debut?
I think so. I think Simons is going to make it because judging by, first of all, the training, what a lot of the coaches were saying, which was get it to Simons, let him create, let him do what he wants. Okay, already it's like there's a big focus on him, it seems. I don't think they're saying in training, just give it to Sarr and let him do what he wants. You know what I mean? So, clearly we need that player, and there's already a focus on him. And
so the reason I said that...
And also, quickly, Frank also said he's a little further along than Moani in his, being ready. So I think that he's kind of saying, look, he's kind of ready to play.
So the reason I said go there first, because now you look at Bergvall and Simons, it's a London derby, it's going to be feisty, it's going to be spicy. You're going to want an experienced player in that midfield, aren't you?
Yes,
so I think it then becomes a Paulinho or a Bentancur, and you depend which one.
Correct. But all of a sudden I'm looking at that thinking, is Bergvall and Simons together a bit too lightweight? I don't know now.
I don't think it's lightweight. Bergvall likes to mix it up, doesn't he?
I kind of feel if you've got those two, though, you're going to want, I think you're going to want Paulinho over Bentancur just because you want that, because Paulinho's got the ability to potentially compensate for those two players because of his dual winning ability. He will send so many duels. Bentancur's a good duel winner, but he doesn't win enough to compensate if one of the others is lacking, whereas Paulinho can do that. And I think having Paulinho there next to a Bergvall who can progress the ball up might help him. So, all right, we're going to go Paulinho.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Sim, with that, we've just done the defence and midfield. How much stronger does that bench look now when you can say Porro, Bentancur, Sarr are on the bench? Compared to benches we've seen, and this is just from we've wanted a stronger bench. Having those three, we've just done that. They're 3 people that can come on and impact the game. João Paulinho, let's do it. All
right, on the right-hand side, guessing we're going to go Mo Kudus, his return to the London Stadium. That's going to be a feisty storyline. He's going to get a feisty reception. I'm so intrigued to see how he reacts. I think you learn a lot about a player's character in these kind of moments. Do they crumble in these moments? Is he going to thrive in these moments? So we'll kind of get to see what kind of character he is, won't we?
And I think so as well. And obviously he's going to want to have a huge impact. And could this be another reason why he does Spence? Because if you look at Bournemouth, Kudus didn't drag back as much as he did against Manchester City and Burnley. So does he want Spence there for the extra ground coverage so he doesn't get exploited as much as Semenyo did with Porro? But I think Kudus is going to be obviously so up for this. It's going to be a major, major thing for him. And I think he's going to have a cracker of a game. I really do.
Up front, I think Richarlison's there because I think Moani, he's kind of implied it's come a bit too soon for him. He's not saying that he's out. He's saying he's available, but the way he says Simmons is a bit further ahead, things like that, that kind of implies, okay, maybe he's not quite ready to just start yet. Maybe he'll be on the bench. So I think Rishi's in good form anyway. I know he didn't have a great game against Bournemouth, but he's in good form. So I think Rishi goes up front. We agree with that. We know Solanke's out anyway. Off the left, this is an interesting one. Johnson had a mare in the last game, but he has got 2 goals in 3. Didn't have a particularly great international break. Obviously, he's got Tell, who could play there. He's got Odebear, who can play there. And he's got maybe even Moani, who's, I don't know if you saw the training clips, but
he was on the left a lot.
He was playing on the left quite a bit. So is that something that's in Frank's mind? And also, talking about Moani, I know he said, it's true he said that Simons is ahead of him, but he has had 2 weeks of him. Like just them two, essentially, for a lot of that time. So has he got him up to speed quicker? Is he ready to just come in, having had 2 weeks, or is he going to start on the bench? There's also an element of, with Tell, there's obviously a massive thing about him being left out the squad. Is he going to show a bit of a public vote of confidence of him to put him straight in the week after he's been left out the Champions League, or just to send him a message saying, look, I know you've been left out, but I really believe in you. Like, you're not left out because I don't rate you. There's an element there as well. And also, you could also say Odebear, because he came on against Bournemouth, did all right. He's had a decent pre-season, and he's probably been worth a start as well. And obviously, Frank prefers him because he picked him over Tell in the squad, didn't he? So I think there's a case for all these players.
I'm going to stick to what I said on Tottenham Tour. I think it's to be Odebear. I really do, but I hadn't. One of the things that I think is actually going to help Tottenham as well is with Dragushin and Tell being left out of the Champions League squad. Like you just correctly said, games before or games after Champions League, or when the League Cup is being played, I think this is where you're going to see a return in Dragushin when he's ready, and Tell be available and be able to do their bit for the team, so players can rest and have their minutes. So I was going Odebear, but now you've thrown Tell in the mix, and before the Champions League, that's an interesting one. And he's just done well for France, hasn't he? He's scored two bangers.
2 goals, yeah.
But they were actually coming off the right, weren't they? So
on his left foot,
it's going to be a great I personally said Odebear, but now you've said Tell, that is a discussion.
Yeah, I just have a feeling it's not going to be Johnson.
Yeah,
I have a feeling it's not. So I've got a feeling it's going to be one of Tell or Odebear. I don't know. I'm undecided. I think obviously Odebear he prefers because he's picked him, but also he's spoken very highly of Tell in his press conference. Is he going to want to just give him that opportunity because he's left out the Champions League squad, knowing that he can't play on Tuesday? He can't play. So does he give him that opportunity in this game? But then again, I don't think he's just handing out opportunities for free. You've got to earn it. Has Odebear earned it more than Tell? Maybe he has.
I mean, for example, I think Tell is 100% starting against Doncaster. I think it'll be one of the first names in the team sheet, but that's a week and a half away. And obviously we've got Villarreal, he can't play. Brighton, maybe he does. I personally thought Odebear.
You know what? I actually do think it is going to be Tell, just based off looking at the front line, and there's not really if you put an Odebear there, where are the goals coming from? You know what I mean? You got Kudus and Odebear on the wing, where they're both like kind of similar players, aren't they? Whereas Tell's that little bit different profile, where he's going to get nearer and nearer the box. Hopefully, he's going to get shots off. So maybe that would make more sense.
True. Sim, give me 2 seconds. I just need to go, so I'll be back in literally 1 minute.
It's all right.
1 minute.
All right, we're going to go with Tell. I'm going to go with Tell. Matisse Tell is going to be my pick for the left-hand side. What do we think in the chat? What are people saying in the chat? No, Tell or Odebear better off the bench. Tell, bro. Neither Tell or Odebear have the finishing quality down yet. Johnson all day long, says TJ. Saint says Tell in. Give Kolo the start. It could be Kolo Moani. I was thinking that. We've seen him in off the left a lot in training. So, it's definitely a potential. And I think, also he gets goals, doesn't he? James says Johnson will retain his spot. I feel like Johnson's going to play on Tuesday. so I feel like he won't start in this one. Seatle says, I want Tell to start. It has to be Tell, says Eddie. All right, we're going to go with Matisse Tell. So, the lineup that we're going for. So I decided Tell. A few people in the chat were swaying me. Although too busy says Odebear to start. All right, we're going to go with Tell for this one. So the team is Vicario in goal, Spence Romero, Van der Ven Udogie, Bergval, Paulinho, and Simmons in the middle, with Kudus, Tell, and Richarlison up front, which means the likes of Mawani, Sarr, Bentancur, Porro, Odebear, all on the bench for this one. We're having him all on the bench, which is making our bench seem quite healthy. Exactly. And also, I do wonder where it leaves people like Dane Scarlett, who's still here as well. I don't know how he's ever going to get a look in, but obviously he's still here.
Yep.
But yeah, if that's the team, Brian, what do you think of a score prediction?
3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs. That's what was my prediction as well. I think logically that should be the result, given the differences between the two teams. But you just know West Ham, don't you, in this fixture? They've always got that ability to just turn up out of nowhere, don't they? And,
they have. But when was the last time we came back from international duty with a clean bill of health? Like a complete clean bill of health, and we could put the side out like that. I just think the away end is going to be a carnival atmosphere, and they'll get the lads going. Obviously, if we can get an early goal, you know that West Ham ground is going to start going against the ownership, and I think Graham Potter is in banging trouble. Yeah,
let's jump into the match preview then. So the game obviously kicks off at 5:30. There are so many different narratives going into this game. First of all, it's Tottenham's first game without Daniel Levy, as you say, which is going to be a very weird kind of feeling. You've got West Ham coming into this was poor form, but they just won 3-0 away at Forest. And as you say, Potter's kind of in trouble at the moment. They're not too happy with their board, but also Mohamed Kudus coming back to the London Stadium with Tottenham. He's going to be public enemy number one. Or you go also take into account our record against West Ham. Look at the previous 5. I mean, it actually doesn't read to too bad reading, is it? I mean, I thought it was worse than that. I mean, the last one was a draw. We beat them 4-1, then we drew, lost 2-1 at home, and then beat them 2-0 at home the year before that. I think we haven't won at the London Stadium for 5 years, I think. Well, maybe getting close to 6 now. I think it was like October 2019 was the last time we won there. So we don't have a great record in recent times of winning. Yeah, it was under Jose, yeah. So, it's a long time, but can we hopefully we can break it tomorrow. In terms of the talking points and what I was saying, the narratives, let's talk about, first of all, from a Tottenham perspective, this is going to be kind of a new era. This is kind of this game will mark Tottenham 3.0 or whatever you want to call it. A Daniel Levy-less Tottenham. The first game where Enoch have taken full control. The away end is going to be buzzing. The home end as well is going to be feisty. It's going to be a real great, hopefully great atmosphere. Maybe similar to what we saw when Newcastle played Liverpool, that kind of real fiery atmosphere we saw, and it really elevated Newcastle on that day, albeit they lost. But in terms of the Spurs fans, do you expect any new chants from the away end? Do you expect them to be in buoyant mood?
I would imagine. Listen, I think there will be buoyant mood. First of all, back from the international break. Again, as I know well, the away fans would always be chanting about the ownership. Change has come. I'm really excited for the future of Tottenham Hotspur, really excited. And I think there'll be a really upbeat feel to the away fans. Obviously, seeing people like Xavi Simons for the first time is going to be... and obviously, this is it may not be the biggest derby for us, but it most certainly is for them. And in a place where they're in a bit of turmoil with how they feel about the ownership, and it's the exact opposite for us. I think it's going to be a cracking out. And I think being the night game as well, or late afternoon game, is going to add some extra spice to it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing it on to Kudus. We were talking to Nicky Hawkins yesterday. I was asking him, is this the biggest kind of the most intimidating reception you ever expect for? Do you expect, sorry, the most intimidating reception you ever given a player returning to the London Stadium? Like just in general, any player that's ever returned there or gone there. Is Kudus kind of, and he said 100%. He said he can't think of a situation where a player's demanded such a hostile reception than Kudus. You got to remember, he hasn't just moved from West Ham to Spurs. First of all, he kind of demanded to leave. He said, and then when he signed, he said, "I only want Tottenham." Then when he had his announcement video with doing his medical, he said, "If you check my heart, you'll find Tottenham there." So he is basically at every step of the way been, look, mate, whether it's, I don't know if it's intentional or not. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, but he's been obviously goading the West Ham fans in terms of how he's gone about this transfer. For you as, obviously we expect a hostile reception, but do you think he knows what he's doing when he's been doing all this stuff in terms of, is he stoking the flames of the fury of West Ham fans? Because a lot of the West Ham fans, when I was speaking to them before the transfer went through, weren't even blaming Kudus. They were blaming the ownership, saying it's their fault. It's not Kudus' fault. I don't blame him for leaving. But with all what he's done, all the things he said, and he's gone and kind of, left, basically rubbing their face in it, essentially. Do you think he knows? Do you think he knows what he's doing? Do you think he's that kind of character who thrives on goading those kind of fans, or do you think he's just maybe he's unaware of the real intense rivalry?
I think he's been here for 2 years with West Ham, so he would have known about the rivalry. Like when players join us, they're like, "Don't drive a red car. Don't. This is the team. It's drummed into you. Whether you've come from a foreign country, whether you've come from Europe or anywhere, it's drummed into you who your number one enemies are." So maybe he didn't realise when he moved here just how ferocious it would be moving from 1 to 2. But I also think what might have done this as well. Do you remember on the opening game of the season, Kudus would have seen what West Ham fans were singing about him at Sunderland and seen the banners. So Kudus may have instigated it with his words and what he said and what he's done, but West Ham have then given it back to him as fans, like we did to Judas. So it's 6 and 1 1/2 a dozen the other, isn't it? But the main thing that I've been discussing with people is when he scores, and this is what I remember, I didn't say if, when he scores, where we've been having the debate, do you think he celebrates or he does I think he celebrates and winds it up even more.
I mean, if he knows what he's doing when it comes to those comments he's been making when he signed, then I think logic might state that he might be enough of a shithouse to celebrate in the London Stadium, and then it'll all really kick off. But I wonder if... do you reckon he's going to be told before, look, if you score, don't, because it's already on a knife edge. So don't go over the top, don't celebrate, don't go to fans, because it's probably going to be already at boiling point before you even get into that ground. So you don't want to tip it over the edge. But he might well do. It's going to be very interesting. But I don't understand. I don't really get it, because what has West Ham done wrong to him? Like, why is he, if he is doing this all on purpose and goading them and making all those comments, like, why is he doing that to his former club, who gave him the chance to come to the Premier League? Haven't really done anything wrong towards him, from my recollection. They let him go when he wanted to go. They facilitated it. They accepted a bid that was way lower than they could have got. So why would he do this on purpose? That's what I'm questioning.
The only thing I could say on that, and obviously Nicky, when you spoke to him, I haven't watched yours and Nicky's bit at the moment, but the only thing I can think of is apparently it was rumoured halfway through the season he wants out, wasn't it? Maybe it was a clash with Graham Potter. I don't know, but if you're looking at it and all of a sudden he wanted out and a new manager's there, maybe it was a clash of... But again, this is me being the outside looking in, but it obviously looked like it was going to happen the whole time. it's going to be intriguing. It's going to be intriguing. But like you said, you look at it. West Ham didn't do anything like come out and say anything about his lack of attitude or he's not training properly or anything, did they? There was nothing coming out of West Ham. This was driven solely by Kudus.
Yeah, which is it's all really interesting. I wonder, is there going to be some tough challenges going in on him, and is there? I know the atmosphere is going to be crazy, and there's going to be loud boos, I'm assuming, whenever he gets near the ball, and they're going to make it as hostile as possible for Kudus. But I wonder if the players as well, is there going to be an element of, because he's one who hangs onto the ball anyway, isn't he? He gets on the ball and he's good at shielding it. He's good at hanging on to it. So is that going to invite a crunching challenge from someone? Is there going to be a few real tough challenges going in on him? That's going to be quite an interesting element to it.
Well, I'd add to that. Maybe if West Ham do that and someone gets a yellow card, it's the perfect time for Kudus to do like we was doing at Burnley. Just run at his guy and try and get him sent off, or see if you can get the guy to commit another foul. But yeah, you've always got to be wary that like a Romero-esque tackle is coming in from someone. They're going to put we know where you are. Have some of this. Get ready for it. It's going to be a very, very tough game for him. I think he's got the mentality to get through it and come out the other side being the better player and the better man, and doing more damage to them than West Ham will try to do to him.
Yeah, I think so. You got from both sides of the fan base. You got reasons to be kind of feisty or lively, should we say? So I'm expecting a very, very loud atmosphere at the London Stadium. In terms of just West Ham in general, obviously, first 3 games of the season. They lost to 5-1 to Chelsea, lost 3-0 to Sunderland. They then got dumped out the cup by Wolves after being 2-1 up with 5 minutes to go or something. And but they did spring that surprise result in Nuno's last game before the international break, 3-0. Potter changed it up tactically, went forward or back. And also on deadline day, they did bring in a few players, didn't they? They got Fernandes. They've brought in. Can't remember off the top of my head who else they brought in, but I think they got a couple of signings in on deadline day, so I think that'll give them a bit more impetus, bit of fresh energy. What kind of West Ham do you expect to see in this game, do you think?
Well, they like you said, they made that change against Forest. Will they continue in that formation at home, or will they go out? The thing is, West Ham did bring in a couple of players, but do you know what? He may be old, but I think Callum Wilson is a great player. I really, if he stays fit, I think he's a proper goal poacher and a problem for any team he comes up against. And he always gives us a tough game. Always, always, always. So I hope we can have him under lock and key. But obviously, Paqueta, who did that incredible celebration when he scored, he's committed his future. So, well, not committed his future, but obviously didn't go this window. Bowen looked very, very lively against Forest, didn't he? He looked very, very lively. He's always the danger man, isn't he? It's whether Spurs have got enough to keep those 3 quiet. And you look at it, when we look at the predicted lineup again, I think João Palhinha has got a hell of a game on his hands.
What, in the middle?
Yeah, I think he needs to be at his Manchester City, Burnley, PSG best, because they could come and they going forward, they could be an issue.
Bowen, Wilson, Paquetá, they got good players there. Somerville, I think he's fit. He came on the other game, so they definitely have very good attackers. I think Bowen, obviously, he's the big danger man off that right hand side. If you allow him on the transition to get him behind you and get an opportunity to finish, he's clinical. He really is. He's got a brilliant left foot. And I am a bit worried about him. So, which is why, I definitely want either Spencer or Doggy up against him. Well, it's going to be one of those two, but you got to lock him down. You got to lock him down because I think he is a big portion of their threat. He is, to be honest. So, I think it's very important you make sure he's not a transitional threat. But as you say, Paquetá, he's been playing with like a new lease of life this season.
Yep.
And I think you saw that celebration, that would him confirming he's staying. That's going to be obviously, that's going to give him that new kind of confidence this season, because last season he was dreadful, and he's obviously had a weight lifted with the charges dropped, the betting charges, and I think that's going to make a big change for him this season. So obviously he's one to be very worried about, and I think when he's on, we were potentially interested in him in the last stage of the window, and I think when he's on his game, he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I still don't think we've seen the best out of him at West Ham. I think there's a better player in there than what we've seen. And apparently, Matthias Fernandes came in the last game, and he made a big difference. I think Diouf, the left back, he's been fairly impressive. But I think where they will struggle is, I think in central midfield, they got Paquetá, but I do think they struggle for real legs, like just ability to cover ground. Like Souček, they've been playing in there. He's just so slow, isn't he? And as much as he's got his strengths, but I just feel like if you're up against Souček, you just back yourself to be able to get past him, because he's just very slow. They got, who else is it? It's I think Rodriguez or something, some other defensive midfield player who I think a lot of West Ham fans are happy to see the back of. I also think their back line just hasn't been able to gel. I think the centre-backs, Todibo's been an absolute disaster so far. I think the keeper is definitely suspect. Hermansen so far, he's definitely suspect. Kilman, I think in theory he's a decent defender, but I think if you've not got someone covering for him in behind, then all of a sudden he can be a bit of a liability. So definitely you look at their team and you're like, there's a lot to be excited about in terms of what we could do against them. But definitely they got some threats which you just can't ignore.
Exactly. Going forward, I think you're right. And then when you just broke down the back line and parts of midfield, I think this is going to be the perfect game for Xavi Simons to make his debut. I mean, we got to remember, we've been playing this season with Sarr as number 10, who's not the creator. He's done a great job. Don't get me wrong. He's done a fantastic job doing what he does. But we saw against Bournemouth, didn't we? The one thing we were lacking is creativity. And they doubled up on Kudus and they kept him quiet. If we can win that midfield battle with Paulinho and Bergvall, as we've said, and we can get this ball to Simons, we've lacked this creativity all season because of injuries. This could be an absolute dream debut for Simons to come in and just literally dictate this game. So I think Simons could have a field day here tomorrow.
Yeah, I think he's going to be obviously a massive part of it. Him making his debut, that's going to be another very interesting subplot, because we've really been lacking. We've really been lacking that kind of player in the team for a while, and he's obviously been. He's obviously been someone that we've absolutely needed in that team, and him making his debut in a London derby, it's going to be very interesting to see how he copes with that, especially with the atmosphere set to be as feisty as it is. Now, this is a guy who's played in the big occasion. He's played in Champions League games. He's played in Euros games. I think he played in potentially a World Cup as well. He got called up to the World Cup anyway. I don't know if he played any minutes, but this guy has played in massive games, and he's still only 22, so he has thrived on those occasions. He's someone who's been in the spotlight ever since he was, I think, 15. Ever since he was young, he was kind of a minor celebrity, and when he was younger. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be fazed by it. No. I really don't. But it's whether, the only question I have is whether it's just going to be a bit of a baptism of fire when it comes to, first game in the Premier League, where the challenges are going to be flying in. It's going to be so intense. It's probably going to be very fast paced. Something he's probably not used to potentially in the Bundesliga, where maybe you got a bit more space and you got a bit more time and things like that. So I'm not saying he's going to be phased like he's going to be nervous, but it is still something new. It's still good. It might take some getting used to for Xavi Simons in this game, especially with North London. It's not the easiest game to get thrown into, is it? So no. How do you how do you anticipate he reacts to his debut?
Well, this is the thing. Sometimes you got to chuck people in the deep end, don't you, and see if they swim. And let's face it, we have got a terrific player in there, and he's been in the Bundesliga, which sometimes we refer to as the closest to the Premier League, don't we? For style of football play, maybe not the intensity within the fans, especially on a derby such as this. I think I think he'll adapt to this quickly. I really, like you said, he's played in semi-final. He played in the semi-final against England in the Euros, didn't he? Where it's huge stakes games. He's done it at Champions League level. He's done it in important. But I think it won't. I think it might be a shock to him the first few tackles that come flying in, and obviously the atmosphere, which is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a powder keg, isn't it? But I think he'll get a few touches on the ball nice and early, and then he'll settle into the game and he'll go from strength to strength to strength. And I think he gets an assist tomorrow, minimum.
And it would be very interesting if he just comes in tomorrow, West Ham away, and just has an amazing game and just completely settles in straight away. I think we'll know, wow, we've got a real player here, won't we? Like he'll be kind of evidence of what kind of character he is if he comes in and just smashes it out, because this is a very difficult game to come into, especially under the circumstances as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he adapts. I'm really looking forward to seeing him make his debut and come straight in. I think he is going to come straight in, judging by how Frank talks about him and what we've seen in training. So that's going to be really interesting, how that kind of plays itself out. I think there's a lot of different elements from there. In terms of what's it called, the back line, yeah, I'm not too worried. I think as long as we keep Bowen under control, we should be okay. Obviously, Paquetá is there. We just got to make sure he's not gaining too much influence. But do you think, for Graham Potter, how big is this game for him, do you think? Like, does he have to get a result?
Before, I just remembered as well, the last Dutch guy we signed from the German league, Mickey van der Ven, settled in rather quickly, didn't he?
Not too bad.
Settled in rather quickly.
We played him, I think 2 days after we signed him, didn't we?
Exactly. So he's either going to have a Mickey van der Ven or Rafael van der Vaart introduction, or a Janssen. Let's just hope it's on the the Van der Ven and Van der Vaart side of the spectrum. Graham Potter, yeah, I think there's big trouble. Yes, they got a very good win against Nottingham Forest and they blew them away in the second half, didn't they? And it could have been more. I think with Nuno now out of a job, obviously there's talk of Mourinho. I think the Sharks are swimming around West Ham. And what did Nicky say about Potter when you spoke to him about it? What was his feeling?
Well, the funny thing is, before the Forest game, he was ready to sack him. He was like, "Get him gone. We don't need him anymore. Sorry, we don't need him. Like, he needs to go." And now he's starting to look a bit more positive after beating Forest, and he's always said, like, he's not the biggest problem with West Ham. It's it's the hierarchy and all that kind of stuff. So I think he doesn't really care, if you know what I mean. He kind of feels, he's kind of apathetic. He kind of feels like whether it's Potter or new guy, doesn't really matter. Kind of how we felt under Levy,
Sounds
like
familiar, yeah.
Someone is always just doomed to failure, basically. But I wouldn't say he's a fan of Potter, because he hasn't really done anything to gain his support. But he doesn't see Potter as like the big, like, he doesn't think things massively improve if Potter goes.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it one of two ways, can't you? Even like with Nuno leaving Forest, it's like a new manager's come in, and it's like, did he buy these players that have just come in, or was it Nuno players? Now you've got to now the window's shut. Do you give Potter the chance to build with the players he's got, and give him a few more games, or give him till January when? So I personally think there's bigger problems for Potter. Maybe if we beat them convincingly, there could be bigger issues. If it's like a hard-fought 2-1 or 1-goal deficit, maybe he'll be on a little bit longer. But we'll see. I think there is trouble at West Ham at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if there's a heavy defeat to us, even though he beat Forest, I think there's obviously going to be big questions asked, because after losing heavily to Chelsea, you can't then lose heavily again to another London rival so quickly. I mean, with that game so fresh in the memory, I don't know if it costs him his job, but I think it immediately puts him in the red zone, and maybe one more bad result after that, and he could be gone. I mean, it could be that detrimental, but. Yeah, I think he needs this result massively. And what about Frank, though? I'm not saying he's under pressure, but, bad performance against Bournemouth. It really was. Yep. If we have anything like that in this game, it's got to be a bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, and I think I did the watch along with you, Sim, in the studio, when we had Nuno and we went to West Ham and we didn't get a shot on target. Yep. Not a single one of those games. And obviously the crowd reacted. People will know my love for Thomas Frank and how... I adore him and wanted him. He got it wrong against Bournemouth. He did get it wrong. He was outdone. I don't think lightning strikes twice so quickly. I think now he's also had 2 weeks with the players that weren't on international duty, and he's had time to sell. I think there was so much going on at the moment with Spurs when it could have been 3 wins out of 3, clean sheet, blah, blah, blah. Frank got it tactically wrong, but now you've got to start thinking, like we said in the predicted lineup, now Frank's got to start juggling 3 competitions, as in Carabao Cup, Champions League, obviously FA Cup's not till New Year. Now we're going to see Frank. This is brand new for Frank as well, so we're going to see what he's made of. I think he'll pass it with flying colours, and his coaching staff. But yeah, if we can't have a performance like we did against Bournemouth, we just simply can't, especially at their ground. And I don't think we will. I just don't think we will.
And the thing is, I don't want to obviously judge him too harshly, even if it's not a good performance tomorrow, because he's still learning about his squad. He's got a lot of new signings who haven't even played a game yet, and they're going to have to integrate into the team. Frank is integrating all these players. He's understanding what his squad is. But we just need to see a lot more on the ball than we saw against Bournemouth. Like, we need to start seeing... I mean, don't need to, but I would really like to start seeing some patterns of play and some attacking impetus, because at the moment it just feels like we're way too reliant either on forcing a mistake from a press or just a bit of individual quality to score a goal, or a set piece, I guess. Which, I guess, look, that is multiple avenues to score, so it's not like you can't win games that way. I just would like to see, when we're in possession, us not look so clueless like we seem to at the moment. But look, with Simons there,
exactly,
hopefully that can start changing things, because I think Paulinho, Bentancur, Sarr, that was always going to be the case, wasn't it? We said that after City, didn't we? It's all well and good them playing in those games against City where if you win the ball, there's going to be all that space to play in. Mm-hmm. And that's just that the space is created for you because of how City play. Whereas against teams like Bournemouth and smart teams who are in the middle range, those are the teams that are going to ask you to create space. Come on, create space against us. How are you going to do it? And when you've got that midfield free, it's going to be so tough to do that, and it's never going to really work. So, having Simons added to that team, it should make a big, big difference, shouldn't it? And I think set pieces is going to be massive in this game, because West Ham are not being good in set pieces at all. So I think that can obviously be a big avenue. But yeah, look, I think Frank hopefully will learn from that game against Bournemouth, because it was really just no two ways about it. It was a shocking performance. It's just one of the worst. I know it was only 1-0, but we all know that scoreline flattered us a lot, and we should have conceded a lot, and we never even looked like scoring. It wasn't even like we had like a big chance or anything. Like, we just never the whole game ever looked like scoring. So that obviously has to be rectified. Hopefully Frank has learned from that. It's going to be very interesting. There's a lot of different things that we get to learn at this point from Frank about the team, about the players individually as well, because it's all so new. So each game is like an opportunity to learn about what Frank wants, how these players are reacting to it, how formations, all these different things. So, yeah, look, you predicted 3-1.
I did indeed.
I predicted 3-1 as well. Let us know in the comment section below, what are your score predictions? I want to see what you think of the game. Yeah, look, that is your match preview. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate Brian for coming on for that. Just quick touch on, before we leave, I want to get your little opinion on Ange returning to the Premier League. Nottingham. Come on, we've got to touch on it. Debut against Arsenal tomorrow. He said a couple of interesting things in his press conference yesterday. I don't know if you saw. He said, he was talking about, he was asked whether, how does he replace Nuno after the job he's done. He said, I didn't expect to be sacked after winning a trophy. So, football can happen to can happen, and that's football, isn't it? He was kind of saying, and he was also saying how it wasn't great how he was let go by Spurs, and he said he felt it was coming even before the final, but there isn't a fan he bumps into who doesn't want to give him a hug and take him out for dinner. What do you reckon about that quote saying he knew it was coming before the final?
So this is the thing. He said that, but then he goes, I didn't expect the sack after winning a trophy, but then he said, I knew about it before the final. So, look, either way, I'm going to say this about it. First of all, it was a pot shot at Ange when he said, at Levy, when he was going on about this guy at the top wants to go for the future and blah, blah. I can't remember exactly.
So what he said about Marinakis, he said it's really great to be under a president who he said he not only has ambition, but matches it with action.
That's so that was like a Romero shot when he left. I will say, and I will repeatedly say this, for me, I deem Tottenham legends, anyone that wins a trophy for Tottenham Hotspur, manager or on the pitch, you're a legend. Let's face it, we haven't had a lot of trophies or silverware in recent years or recent history compared to others. For me, One Day Ramos is a legend for winning a trophy. Wasn't one of our greatest matches, but he got the job done, and we saw the players lift the trophy. He had to go after the Premier League and whatever. He's gone to Forest. Obviously, I've got a bit of beef with Forest because of my Morgan Gibbs-White heartbreak. I think he's gone with for the first time, he's gone with the same kind of coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And we'll see what Forest does. I think he's got a good squad there, but I think if he is going to go back to Ange ball and play this high line attacking football, he's got players that are going to get found out very quickly. Like Milenkovic playing a high line, he's going to get exploited. They've got, what I will say is they've got a very good midfield in Anderson, Gibbs-White, others.
I think that'll be perfect for them. I actually think it'll be perfect for Ange. Anderson, Douglas Luiz,
what's his name, Diaz. So if they can stay fit, which is a big, big if, because he had this issue at Celtic as well. So I'm not just talking about Spurs. He had this issue at the start as well. So he's back in football. Listen, I hope he wins on Saturday and beats the filth. But let's face it, he took 1 point from 12 from us. But after the Arsenal game, and apart from the Arsenal game, I really don't care. He's got a new job. Off you go. Thank you for what you did. You will be a legend to me. But it's now Thomas Frank. And we'll see what Ange can do. But it is absolutely no concern to me whatsoever what Forest do, where they finish. And like I said, I hope they smash the filth tomorrow. And then couldn't care less.
I don't know, did you see the clips or did you just read them when you went in terms of the quotes yesterday?
I saw, so I know they released something, bits and pieces on X and on their official website. Then they had the whole video, so I watched the whole video, but I was drifting in and out of it because
I was just wondering, do you think he's bitter about what's happened at Tottenham? Do you see a bitterness there? A bit like Mourinho's been bitter, hasn't he, since leaving Spurs about what happened?
A little, but you know what? As a manager who's won a trophy, I can understand why he is a bit bitter. I can understand why he's a bit bitter. Like I started before once he'd won it, saying if he does start the season, I understand that he's won a trophy, blah blah blah. But if you'd said to me at any point Thomas Frank or Ange, with or without the trophy, every time I'm saying Thomas Frank. But I can understand him being bitter. He did something that no manager's been able to do for 41 years in Europe, 17 years under Daniel Levy and Enoch. So I understand the bitterness of the way it's happened and whatever. But I also look at the Premier League and injury record and performances and think that weren't good enough. But I can understand the bitterness.
All right, Brian, appreciate your time as always, mate. Go
Pleasure,
and
brother.
subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. The link is currently in the title of the video. So if you go there, you want to see more of Brian Daigle. How many subs are you on now? You're on over 10,000.
We've hit over 11 now. We're
11,000.
on 124. We're trying to get to the next milestone.
Next milestone. To go and help Brian hit the next milestone, go on to Tottenham on Tour in the title of this video and go and subscribe to him. But big up to Brian. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow for the watch along, when it's going to be me and Josh King in the studio, where hopefully it should be fireworks. It should be fireworks tomorrow. Very much looking forward to it. We'll see you very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.